Caroline, I think you can fall into the camp of people who's been like, hey, I've known this for a while. I've known that TPUs are so efficient. Does it really make a difference that you have Meta now buying into this? What does it mean to have a market awaken to the possibilities of what Google has developed?
I think what's different here is before Alphabet had been selling it as part of the cloud winning formula. Come to us, you can use our cloud and you use our TPUs, which are on their 7th generation now. They've been developing these for 10 years. They've been offering them to other clients since 2018. We haven't seen them really sell them specifically to others to use within their data centers, not just Meta, but maybe banks who need to trade at high frequency. That's a clear area of edge for them. So they're starting to get this inbound. In fact, a lot of analysts, Stacey Raxton over there, we've heard also from Bernstein, you've also heard from Gil Luria saying this is kind of an obvious dimension of the business model. The question, though, is what will NVIDIA do about it? Now, we've heard before reports from The Information that OpenAI was getting very close to potentially taking TPUs from Google, Alphabet, maybe using their cloud more ever since that relationship when Microsoft got disrupted a bit. And then NVIDIA went and put $100 billion into OpenAI and said, oh, please do use our GPUs if you wouldn't like to. What is Meta going to suddenly get offered from Jensen Huang? That's my key question, because you've seen big deals with Anthropic, but Anthropic suddenly has got some more investment from NVIDIA as well. There's going to be a tussle at the top here, but be sure, Jensen Huang's been eyeing TPUs for a while, and Alphabet, this has been a winning formula. That's why Gemini 3 has been so efficient, and efficiency's everything. It's all about energy and what more they can do with it, because that's going to be the bottleneck.
Yeah, we have actually updated our circularity chart, which continues to grow and boggles the mind no matter which form you look at it in. Michael Ball, is this a problem for the whole market? I mean, so much is built on NVIDIA reigning supreme. Here's the new version, right? And you can see all of the deals that they do with other big players like AMD, like Oracle, like Microsoft, like Intel, and that those players do with them. So if NVIDIA is brought down, is it a problem for everybody?
I don't think so. And this has been the question that the market's trying to figure out, because capital so far is staying in the market. So although we've had NVIDIA now break below that 180 level, which was a key battleground and had a lot of sort of positive, negative connotations if it was below or above, the fact that Google has taken on $1 trillion and that the market is just finding a more efficient answer to the AI CapEx question. And that's what we want to see. We want to see competition. We want to see these guys have choices. We don't want the hyperscalers all bottlenecked into one choice that has backlogs growing and energy efficiency questions. We want optionality. We want capitalism to work. And that's sort of what we're seeing. And although it's violent in some ways, given the price action of the winners and losers, it is a positive development in the long run.
Okay, so if we do get, and we have, something more efficient, something more energy efficient, Caroline, is that enough? Or is this an ecosystem that's incredibly sticky? So even if there are hyperscalers and others who want to use Alphabet's chips, if they're already with NVIDIA, can they just so easily change over?
What's going to be interesting is how the development of the software works out here, because we understand that Alphabet is doing a lot to show the prowess not only of the TPU, but also the software that goes with it, and some of the ability to use software that's adjacent, not just their JAX, which is their own programming language that they've developed to go alongside TPUs, but you can use others that use different ecosystems. Look, the thing with NVIDIA is that they have CUDA, and everyone is locked in not only to the hardware that NVIDIA offers, but the entire ecosystem that NVIDIA offers. If Alphabet can start to chip away at that and show, look, with us you can have prowess the entire way through, I think there is going to be a real recognition that this is a clear alternative. But remember, the whole vertical integration story, what Google has shown so well is that it can develop incredible models because it's using its own tech stack, and then it's putting it out into the ecosystem. We're all using it. Look what Alibaba is just announcing. They too want to be a full vertically integrated company that makes their own chips, that develops the models, that offers it out on their cloud, and then offers the models as well. But also remember, this is what Amazon does. Yes, we're talking about TPUs, but Trainium is on their 3rd iteration. We understand that many people are using not only for training, but are we going to use it not just for inference, but the training of models as well? How much can Amazon start to show its competitive edge as well with it?
Early Tuesday trading saw a 6.5% decline in NVIDIA shares following a story suggesting that the AI chipmaker may soon face increased competition from Google, one of its own clients. Google is negotiating with Meta to pay billions of dollars for the usage of its AI chips in data centers in 2027, according to a Monday story from The Information. This would be a significant shift from Google's current semiconductor business, in which the tech giant gives AI developers access to its chips, known as Tensor Processing Units, TPUs, through Google Cloud. This indicates that, contrary to what the information's claim suggests, the chips are only sold within Google's own data centers. In a strategy that the company says may capture up to 10% of NVIDIA's yearly income, the information also reported that Google is attempting to sell TPUs to its other cloud clients. After the revelation, shares of Advanced Micro Devices, a competitor of NVIDIA, also dropped more than 8%. The action is a part of a developing trend where NVIDIA's greatest clients are turning into one of its biggest rivals. Microsoft and Amazon have also created their own AI chips in addition to Google. One of the top AI developers, Anthropic, rented 500,000 of Amazon's bespoke AI chips as part of a recent huge data center project. OpenAI apparently evaluated the company's AI processors this summer, and Google recently announced a significant partnership with Anthropic. In recent months, there has been increasing speculation that Google is growing its AI chip business in order to compete with NVIDIA more directly. According to a report released in September by investment company D.A. Davidson, notable frontier AI labs have expressed a great deal of interest in acquiring Google's TPUs. According to the firm, Google's DeepMind AI division and TPU business might be valued at $900 billion. As tech markets started to rebound from a rout, NVIDIA's stock decline after the most recent news undid a Monday gain. Concerns about the AI bubble have increased in recent months, putting pressure on NVIDIA and other big tech stocks. As the top AI chipmaker has made investments in its own clients, NVIDIA has come under fire for its circular AI transactions. Notable Big Short investor Michael Burry recently placed a wager on the company's demise and said the AI market is similar to the dot-com bubble. However, the business attempted to allay some of these worries in a memo that was delivered to Wall Street analysts over the weekend. The businesses in NVIDIA's strategic investment portfolio are expanding their own revenues quickly, suggesting a route to profitability and a robust underlying consumer demand for AI applications. NVIDIA is fully open about its strategic investments. In addition, the company explicitly denied comparisons to past accounting scandals made by some detractors, stating that NVIDIA is not comparable to past accounting frauds because its core business is financially stable, its reporting is thorough and open, and it values its integrity. NVIDIA explained why, in its opinion, it differs from Lucent, WorldCom, and Enron. Following a report from the information indicating that Meta Platforms is contemplating a significant agreement to rent and maybe buy Google's proprietary TPU processors beginning in 2027, Alphabet and Broadcom shares are rising this week. The possibility that Meta will move some of its AI computation roadmap toward Alphabet Silicon caused a dramatic upheaval in the AI industry, pushing NVIDIA and AMD while removing names associated with Google's hardware ecosystem. A winner-take-all storyline that has gathered traction since NVIDIA's most recent results and Google's well-received Gemini 3 launch was accelerated by this decision. Active managers are increasingly viewing Google and its TPU platform as the apparent leader in the AI race, and they are allocating capital appropriately, according to Jordan Klein, a Mizuho TMT specialist. According to Klein, this winner-take-all trade in AI and TMT has been going on for the past few weeks, and the rise in Google and its key suppliers is picking up steam. Investors first thought the trade would slow down as rivals release new models and hardware, but the market has doubled down, according to Klein. The market is behaving as though Google is winning the entire AI competition, while NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and OpenAI are all losing. The reason behind this is that a lot of fund managers believe they can't afford to buck the trend at this point in the year. As pressure mounted on NVIDIA, AMD, Oracle, and numerous cloud giants, the rumored Meta-Google talks only serve to strengthen Alphabet, Broadcom, and other silicon and optical vendors. Klein cautioned, however, that it is myopic to consider AI leadership resolved in late 2025. He claimed that as businesses make large investments in computing, memory, networking, and power infrastructure, the AI race will result in quick changes in positioning. He pointed out how rapidly mood changed earlier this year when Google was widely perceived as trailing behind OpenAI, saying, "This is a marathon that will see many different lead changes." Vivek Arya of Bank of America also resisted the market's abrupt reversal by standing up for NVIDIA and AMD. In addition to Broadcom, Arya reaffirmed his buy ratings for all of these companies, claiming that NVIDIA's valuation, roughly 25 times earnings despite projections of more than 40% growth, prices the company like a typical franchise. He claimed that Broadcom has the upper hand because AI-related sales are predicted to grow by more than 100% by 2026, even though increased Google TPU licensing may limit some of its ASIC chances. AMD continues to profit from a number of growth drivers covering CPUs, GPUs, embedded, and gaming, and is currently selling at roughly 33 times 2026 profits. As the chipmaker retaliated against short sellers who were wagering against an AI bubble, NVIDIA has maintained that it is not dealing with a financial scandal akin to Enron. In an attempt to allay market fears, the most valuable firm in the world has written to analysts to refute assertions made by Michael Burry, the trader who foresaw the 2008 housing catastrophe. NVIDIA specifically stated that it is not inflating its sales, refuting Mr. Burry's assertions that the AI industry is being supported by a series of circular partnerships rather than by actual demand from companies utilizing the technology. The message to analysts surfaced as NVIDIA's stock had a new sell-off on Tuesday, falling 6% after it was revealed that rival Google was in negotiations to sell Facebook owner Meta its own chips. Additionally, since investors expect the company to overtake NVIDIA in the competition for supremacy in AI, shares of Alphabet, Google's parent company, increased by 4%. Although its share price has dropped recently due to worries that AI stocks have gotten overpriced, NVIDIA became the first business to be valued at $5 trillion in October. On Tuesday, its value was almost $4.2 trillion. In its letter to analysts, which Barron's first revealed, NVIDIA denied that it has been fostering an AI bubble and maintained that its operations are not similar to past accounting scams. NVIDIA said that it has not been trying to hide any debt or inflating its sales, unlike Enron, the U.S. energy behemoth that filed for bankruptcy in 2001. Additionally, it dismissed analogies to WorldCom and Lucent, two former U.S. telecom behemoths that were both charged with fraud during the peak of the dot-com boom. NVIDIA's response follows criticism of the tech giant's accounting practices, notably its disclosure of share reward plans, from Mr. Burry, who served as the inspiration for the book and Hollywood movie The Big Short. He has asserted that genuine demand for a wave of AI tools is ridiculously small, and that a network of shady arrangements among the largest AI businesses in the world, led by NVIDIA, amounts to suspicious revenue recognition. In a social media post last week, he claimed that nearly all of his clients are financed by their dealers. Additionally, according to the investor, NVIDIA's graphics chips are not properly accounted for because their useful lives are significantly shorter than previously thought. He disclosed wagers on NVIDIA and Palantir totaling over $1 billion, $760 million last month, which would enable him to benefit handsomely should the shares decline. Nonetheless, NVIDIA stated in its note to analysts, "We care about our reputation for integrity, our reporting is thorough and transparent, and our fundamental business model is economically sound." Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, downplayed concerns about a stock market bubble during a call following the company's results last week, when it revealed $57 billion in revenues. "There has been a lot of talk about an AI bubble," Mr. Huang stated. "From where we are, we see something quite different. Although trade ties between the United States and China are still far from resolved, investors in NVIDIA just received some positive news. The White House is lobbying Congress to vote against a bill that would further restrict NVIDIA's chip shipments to China, according to recent reports from Bloomberg and other prominent media publications like Axios. Under the Guaranteeing Access and Innovation for National Artificial Intelligence Act, U.S. semiconductor companies, including NVIDIA, would have to prioritize selling graphics processing units, GPUs, in the United States before they could sell them to Chinese enterprises overseas. The law's wording, according to Bloomberg, would make it challenging for NVIDIA to sell its most cutting-edge processors to China. NVIDIA has openly declared that the law is not essential. In order to serve the rest of the world, we never deprive American clients. A representative for NVIDIA stated back in September that the proposed bill would limit competition globally in any industry that uses mainstream computing hardware in an attempt to tackle an imaginary problem. There has been some bipartisan support for limiting China's access to NVIDIA's most cutting-edge chips, and President Joe Biden's administration has also taken action in this regard. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, has long said that doing so will simply weaken the competitive edge of American chipmakers and allow China to catch up. Regarding NVIDIA and China, President Donald Trump and the White House have been at odds. The administration forced NVIDIA to pay $5.5 billion earlier this year after requiring the business to secure an export license in order to sell specific chips to China. Since then, though, Huang has increased his involvement in Washington and pushed Trump to remove some of the limitations. A few months ago, it appeared like NVIDIA may sell a variety of its chips to China in exchange for a share of the sales to the Chinese government. Since the government appears to be continuing to modify its position about NVIDIA's chip sales to China, the recent media stories are encouraging for the company. There will eventually be a reconciliation process, because the bill was originally included as an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, but was now filed as a separate bill by a group of senators. As I previously stated, NVIDIA's revenue projection for the current quarter does not include sales in China. On the company's most recent earnings call, NVIDIA's CFO, Colette Kress, stated that sizable purchase orders never materialized in the quarter due to geopolitical issues and the increasingly competitive market in China. Nevertheless, the business exceeded experts' projections for earnings and indicated for increased revenue in the current quarter. Until the geopolitical front becomes more clear, I don't think Wall Street will take any China sales into account at this time. However, NVIDIA's income will increase dramatically if this market opens up. Huang stated last quarter that he believes the opportunity in China would have been $50 billion this year, and that he anticipates a 50% increase in that amount next year. Wall Street analysts are predicting $208 billion in sales for NVIDIA's fiscal year 2026, which concludes in late January. China's contribution might greatly increase those projections. Due to additional export constraints outside of the GAIN AI Act, it is currently uncertain whether and when NVIDIA will be able to fully take advantage of the China potential. However, NVIDIA will have a good chance of eventually reviving sales in China if it can convince Trump to change his position on export restrictions. Trump has a lot of power in Congress. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.